Hello and welcome to Nintendo Nightly, your Monday through Friday source for everything Nintendo. My name is Michael Cottrell, your host, and today on the show I want to talk about a couple of things. We got the online service and then the alleged disappearance of the virtual console. I want to get into both, but before we do, you know what else is online? And that's a service. This show, subscribe if you want to keep up to date with all the latest Nintendo news, reviews, impressions, all that fun stuff. We've got it in podcast form and video form, so subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on, and leave a review, leave a comment, blah, blah, blah. Let's get into it. So the Nintendo Switch Online service was finally announced yesterday, late last night, and we're not really getting any surprises here. We already heard most of the stuff, whether it be in news interviews or in just like murmurings at investor meetings and things like that, to where nothing is really a surprise here. What's more of the surprise to me is why everybody's freaking out about it and talking about it, and why it made such a splash in the news cycle last night. You know, like I went on YouTube and there was like 15 videos up by the time I had heard about it, which was only like an hour after it happened. So I guess everybody's, just talking it up here. And it's an interesting thing to speculate on. This is the first time Nintendo has experimented with a paid online service, and I think there's a discussion to be had there. The more interesting part, however, is how exactly they're going to go forward with handling their classic game offerings and so on and so forth. So before we get into that, though, if you haven't heard of the online service, let's just break that down real quick. So Nintendo has always been free for online play. Ever since the Wii, it's never been great, and the games have been known to shut down pretty quickly. You know, for instance, there's the Miiverse service is shut down, so I'm playing the Wii U version of Mario Maker right now, and there are no comments. They've all been removed from the game. They've also sort of started the process of lowering the burden of those servers, so it's taking a while longer to load every level that's created and uploaded on the platform for that reason. So it's a little, it's been a little rough around the edges, and I think reason being is that you just need money to support millions and millions of people accessing different server points. And so Microsoft started out doing this with starting that trend with Xbox Live. PlayStation followed with the PlayStation 4, $10 a month for PlayStation Plus, and then we've got this Nintendo Switch Online service. And like, it's almost like inconsequential. You know, I don't really want to talk about how much money is a lot of money to different people, but $4 a month is pretty cheap, and $20 a year is even cheaper. So not really a huge thing, just like a little yearly tax from Big Brother Nintendo. That is going to be required to continue playing online games like Mario Kart, Splatoon, and so on and so forth. The extra little goodies they give you with it to try and keep you on the service is so far 20 NES games that are making their way to that online service, and you can play those games in certain online settings, you know, like trade controllers. You can play multiplayer, and it's a cool idea. It's a cool idea. Not in any means a game changer, but it's nice that all of these games, which a couple years ago on the Wii U eShop would have cost $5 a pop, we're getting 20 of them just part of this online service. So if honestly, you could think of it as you're getting 20 games for $1 each. The catch, though, however, is that you don't keep it if you don't keep subscribing to the service. So I suppose that's the debate, but in this day and age, I'm just used to having a subscription for everything. You know, a subscription socks, subscription food, subscription hair, you know, just everything. It's kind of how the world works. And, you know, honestly, it works a little better for the budget, you know? I get paid every 2 weeks. It's tough to buy things all in one fell swoop, like the monthly thing. So what's coming in addition to this as well is the save data cloud backup. So this is a missing feature from the Nintendo Switch that we haven't had, and you can look up all sorts of crazy horror stories on people losing their over 200-hour Breath of the Wild runs, their Mario Odyssey data, all that sort of stuff. And that's very sad. And it's kind of awkward that Nintendo hasn't had a way to back up your save data up until now, but what I always say is that we've been playing a console that's in beta. This wasn't a console that was finished. In most cases, this would have been released in like the fall of last year, and we would have had to wait all that time. So, you know, honestly, I'm just rolling with the punches. I'm glad we got the console when we did. they're touting the Nintendo Switch Online app as a benefit of this, and they're gonna have to like improve that or do something with it for it to be something that you put on a website and advertise with, because it's very lame. It's very lame. There's also going to be some sort of alleged special offers. You'd imagine that's going to be a sort of like PlayStation Plus, where I got The Last of Us for $30 around Halloween the year after it came out because they were doing a sale, and that kind of stuff is nice. So it might actually save you more money than you would be spending for the online service. So I think honestly it's a no-brainer unless you just don't like playing online. But but that's sort of the meat and potatoes of it. Like I said, all stuff we've kind of heard before, all stuff we were expecting. What we had heard that's new, however, is that there's going to be a family membership available for $35, and that's going to be a nice thing, a nice option for those of you who have a bunch of kids who have Switches. I don't really know who else. Maybe you can try and game the system and do one of those things where you share a Netflix subscription with your 8 closest friends, and who knows if you can game the system like that. But it's nice. I don't have too much of a problem with it. What I do have a problem with is Nintendo's current offerings when it comes to their online platforms. So you look at a game like Splatoon 2, Super Smash Bros. Back on the Wii U, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they all are hampered with these incredibly limited sort of options to play the game. So when I go into Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U, I have the option to play for fun or for glory. For fun is items and time matches and blah blah blah, and for glory is just one-on-one flat stage final destination settings. And it's they're these very like silly, boiled down to the like lowest common denominator understandings of how someone wants to play Super Smash Bros. With like no way to toggle options. So for instance, if you play Team Attack on For Glory, you're going to be put on a stage without hazards, but they play with Team Attack on, which if you've ever experienced that, is just a ridiculous mess. You can have one character stand in the back and shoot projectiles through their teammate into the other team, and it really just kind of spoils the game because everybody finds really obnoxious strategies to do with 2 people. Like they'll be the villager and they'll send like a barrage of the Lloyd rockets your way, and there's all sorts of like crummy things that you can do with that. And so I never really enjoyed online Super Smash Bros. Like I thought I would, especially considering that even PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, like, the PlayStation Super Smash Bros. That came out a while back, even that had the ability to toggle options, and that's a much smaller audience. I mean, I think part of why they did that is like they don't want too many different groups of people so that it takes long to connect to an online match, but PlayStation All-Stars figured it out, and like no one bought that game. Like I mentioned before, also Splatoon is just absolutely asinine when it comes to how to play with your friends. When I got it with my brother, we wanted to play on a team because we like playing on teams, and Splatoon told us, no, your only option, you can get into the same lobby, but you can only play in a team if you happen to be on the same team. It's just random for turf war. And like maybe they're thinking it'd be unfair because we would be able to like, we'd have 2 people that can communicate on one team and then there'd be 4 strangers on the other one. But like, I don't know, it's more messed up on the other side because I can see where my brother is when I'm playing with him against him, and I can tell that someone's behind him. I don't know. I don't understand why you have to like form that separation. And I know what you might be saying. You can play together in other modes, but you have to unlock those modes or have those modes be available on just whatever part of the week. We could play Salmon Run together if we get on the 3rd Tuesday of the month from the hours of 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And that's cool too, I guess whenever the stars align, and my schedule with my family, with work, and his schedule with work and friends, whenever all those stars align and we can jump into the same lobby, it'd be really fun. Hasn't happened in about a year though. And then there's the ranked mode where you can play online if you grind your way up to the B rank and then start playing that. And even at that point, you don't have access to say, I want to do the tower defense mode, because that's only active at certain times. And I know that's the design philosophy of Splatoon, but something's got to give if Nintendo really wants people to be passionate about the service enough to pay for it. Because honestly, with Splatoon, there's not really like a reason for me to do that. I honestly, the game has just kind of gone dead for me. Every once in a while, I'll try the Splatfest, and that has its own little weird issues, which, yeah, speaking of, you can't play with your friends on that unless you have specifically 3 other friends that you want to play on a team with. So I also tried to play with my brother there. First time we had booted up the game in a while, and we couldn't play. I mean, for something like a Splatfest, come on. Are you trying to like preserve the competitive integrity of random matches on Splatoon and Turf War? There is none. So there's these weird choices that Nintendo makes, really on the development side, that they need to start figuring out better. I want the next Smash Bros. To have robust online features to where I can connect to 2 other strangers that are teamed up, and we could do a stock match with Team Attack on. It's not that complicated. We've been doing matches like that since the Nintendo 64 Super Smash Bros. It's the competitive preference. Also, would it kill you to throw the ability to select a stage? Give me 10 seconds to select a stage. Don't just throw me on the like whitewashed Final Destination version levels, because that's not what competitive players like, or people that just like playing in a competitive angle. Like, I don't play in tournaments. I just don't like the random elements of Smash as much as I like the elements of the combos and the mind games and all that fun stuff. And so I just have some gripes with Nintendo's online offerings so far, and I hope they really improve them. I'm still gonna buy this thing because it's $20, and I'll probably need to have an online connection on Nintendo to keep doing this channel. But you know, it's just something that I'll have to roll the punches with. So that's the update from last night, and there's my opinion about it. Let me know what you think down in the comments, or you can write into the show at thebentoblock.com/Nintendo Nightly. I'd love to know what you think of the online service, if you plan to purchase it, and what your experience has been like so far with the Switches online. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next time for more Nintendo Nightly. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about this virtual console thing that's apparently going away. So I'll see you then.